Good morning. When I first began doing these video devotionals, one of the promises I made to myself was that I always would try to do the devotionals out of something that was going on in my own spiritual life. That I wasn't just going to produce content, but that I would try to share from you really from my heart. And I think and I hope for the most part I've been able to do that. And so I want to share with you today kind of an uncomfortable topic, but one that I've been wrestling with a little bit and thinking about a lot lately. And so one I want to share with you as well. I heard a podcast the other day that really helped me think about that. And that is the topic of money and how we use our money. This is a time where we all are worried about the economy. And even though the stock market is looking pretty good, we know that other people in our country are just being shattered economically by the COVID virus and by other factors that are going on. And we worry. I always worry at the end of the year. How is the church going to do? Are we going to finish in the black? Are we going to be okay? The start of the year brings those same worries as well, and they bring personal worries too. And when we start worrying about money, if you are like me, we start trying to kind of hoard money. Maybe I can't be as generous as I should be, or as even I want to be, because I'm afraid. But I am reminded, and again, I heard this on a podcast, and it really helped me recently. I'm reminded that Jesus tells us that no one can serve two masters. For a slave will either hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. And here Jesus is really saying that mammon or wealth is an idol. It's a false idol. And we have to choose, am I going to worship and trust God, or am I going to worship and trust money? And money is something that will pull me away from God. If I'm so afraid of what's going on and I can't be generous, it's going to pull me away from God. And when I get pulled away from God, literally, that is the definition of hell. Hell is being outside of God's presence. And so all of that worry and all of that turmoil and all of that fear only to serve to make my life worse. And so Jesus is saying, make sure that you serve God. Make sure that you aren't serving mammon, but you're letting wealth serve you. And the way you let it serve you is that you are generous with what you have. We sometimes talk about tithing. I need to give 10% of what I make. And oftentimes that is in relationship to the church. I need to give 10% to the church. And I believe in that. And Lee and I do tithe our money. But the New Testament actually never tells us that we are to tithe. That's really more of an Old Testament idea. In the New Testament, what we are told is God doesn't need our money. And in a sense, the church doesn't need our money, but we need to give our money. And the reason we need to give our money is that is the way that we serve God and not mammon. That is the way we say, God, I'm not going to hang on to all the money I have and try to use it only for myself and only serve mammon, but rather I'm going to give to you. And that may be giving to the church. It may be giving to other causes as well. As a pastor, obviously, my livelihood is dependent upon people giving to the church. And yet there are also so many other wonderful godly causes out there. And so I want to encourage you this day to make a stand against mammon, to say to mammon, the god mammon, the false god mammon, I will not serve you. And the way you can do that is by being generous with the financial resources that you have. And so I encourage you on this day to be generous in one way or another. It doesn't have to benefit me. It doesn't have to benefit First Cumberland of Chattanooga, but be generous to God, not because God needs it, but because you need to do it. You can do that, and I can do that because God is with us. Amen.